focus mostly on that topic, and as well as what's going on with NLA. We will include that as a general overview as well. As usual, we will be having a Q&A at the end of the webinar, so you are welcome to ask questions regarding any of the things that we've talked about. Just a reminder though, please hold all your questions until that time. I'd just like to say a great big thank you to everyone joining us today, again from various parts of the world and in many time zones. We do appreciate your attendance and participation. Some people are up late, some people are up very early. So thank you for joining us. So now, with that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you our presenter for today, Mr. Noel Adams, the founder of Next Level Africa and our CEO and leader of the Smada team. Welcome, Noel.
Thanks, then, Angelina. I probably need to. I've got training wheels on for this webinar every time. They've changed a few things on there, so it's a bit of an issue on getting it set up. So everything seems to be changed. It's that long between webinars, and if I've been told it's. Can you hear me now? I've turned up the volume. And just if you adjust your volume, you'll be able to hear. So I've gone to maximum volume my end. Okay, so just make sure that your volume is also turned up, because it can be a difference on how it is. All right, look, what I'm going to cover is as much information as we have. So any questions, you can leave them until the end, because we'll try to answer what we can. Okay, starting off with the exchange, the investors. As you know, that we mentioned that there was a meeting that was held in the US on their time, Friday morning. It started actually at 11 o'clock Friday morning. It did go for quite a long time. Now, I haven't been briefed on the outcome of that meeting as yet, and what happened is that they had a briefing on it in London last night. Now, I thought I was going to get the results from that before this webinar, but I don't have them now. Possibly I'll be getting them a little bit later today. With different time zones around the place, it's sometimes hard to coordinate a lot of the information, because we do run time zones through the US, South Africa, and Hong Kong, UK. So it's just slightly different time zones, and of course Australia. So there are just things going on. Look, if anyone wants to look up about some of the things going on in South Africa at the moment, I don't want to comment on them, but they're quite serious. So our programmers are involved with that as well. So there's just things going on out there that our guys don't have any control over, and you can never factor everything into something when you're trying to work with it, but nevertheless they're working to bring this to completion out there. So everybody that's involved with the investor group, the main investor people, were in the States for this meeting. It was a very lengthy meeting. It actually stretched over to the next day as well, and I believe they've got quite a bit sorted out, but we won't know until I get the full report. So I don't want to speculate out there on it. Last night I was working with the technical team, because it's an issue with the Chingling wallet, and whilst it's hard to know why we're affected with the NLA, the CEX as well, it's just an area out there. So the wallet techs who are in Japan at the moment, Jamie is looking after that. If you look on the Chingling wallet, you'll see on there that the wallet was developed by Jamie. We initially got Jamie to start it, so he's the one that's building it. So I had to send off a file last night, and so they are very close on that. It's got something to do with when they add the funds to the asset account. Chingling, or the global exchange, should be the first exchange that updates the asset account and the value of the coin, but it throws it back, and NLA is done first. Now, you may not even see this happening out there because they both update within 10, 15 minutes or less of each other. But this throwing back, because the Chingling wallet, particularly in Windows, won't sync. It won't go online. So Jamie is working on that now to get that happening. We had a few people with the NLA wallet that wouldn't sync, so they fixed that out there. Wallets can be a little bit of an issue unless you've got someone managing them all the time. So they've got that in place. So one of the reasons that you haven't seen the asset account increase is because of this wallet scenario. That is the main reason. So they just need to fix that. So I keep getting told the night before that when I wake up in the morning it's all going to be fixed. But whatever technical things pop up overnight, it's obviously not quite happening there. So believe you me, they are definitely working on getting that side of it completed, and once they've completed that, then we'll see the exchanges all trading to where they need to be. So right, so that's all I really know about that. And as soon as we get the information in about the results from the meeting and the wallets and stuff, we'll be posting them through the rooms. And look, I'll be wanting to call another webinar to let people know exactly where we are with it. But you will see with the asset account, it will increase the coin at least 3, if not 4 increases since we've had an increase. So you will see the coin go up quite substantially. Anybody who's got coins listed on there, it has been an issue with the investors, believe you me, with the challenge we've had out there with the cheap coins, because that's a concern for them. They do know that NLA members will have possibly around about will be over 3 million coins, probably close to 4 million coins, and they look at that as being a bit of an issue, particularly where there's coins listed on there. So the people that have got those coins listed on there, they don't really see the big picture, and maybe some of them have gone. The bank did pay out over $30,000 in the last week for sales that people that had a bit of an issue with banking details for some members, but they paid that out, and so that part of it's all floating along. But nevertheless, we are dealing with what we can, and as I mentioned before, when the dollar coin is stopped from NLA, we should see all those cheap coins go away. We'll move on to line 6 now. Now line 6, look, they're loading. They've had issues with it, and it just seems to be one thing after another. And I want to tell you this on what I've instructed them to do. And one of the major issues we had with members out there is the skipping, when people don't upgrade for whatever reason their accounts. Maybe they've had computer issues, maybe they've on holidays, maybe they've had medical issues. Whatever the reason is, there are issues out there that people don't upgrade and they get skipped. It's been a concern of mine on that for some time, because I can see where we want to make sure that we have members that receive everything that they need to from this program, because really what we're looking at is making sure that members get the benefits, not admin. It's all right, my computer's just doing it. It's probably not used to all this. So I wanted to make sure that the members get rewarded, because what you can have happening out there is that a lot of times, especially where it's what we call a solo build. As you know, that I've built Next Level Africa with a team build mentality out there, because I wanted to make sure that no one got left behind, and so that's where it is. So everything that I do with Next Level Africa is based on the members as a team effort rather than a solo effort. But we do identify people that have done that little bit extra, done that bit extra for Next Level Africa and looking after members, because what you do have out there is someone, there's always someone that does the majority of the lifting, and there's always someone that does very little, but sadly just complain all the time. So we are out there trying to make sure that we have this team mentality. So people being skipped on, their various levels there has been something that I've been looking at for some time. How it works is that, let's say that you don't upgrade. How it worked was that the person above you would receive, or the next person who is eligible for that amount, to just that, sorry, there's people posting things in the room. I'm not sure, sometimes my eyesight goes to that. I'm reading it, but in case one of the admin put something in there. But anyway, normally it would bypass the person, go to the next eligible member to receive the commission from that upgrade. Now what happens is, I just want to use an easy one on this. Let's say that somebody underneath you upgraded, and you hadn't upgraded to that package, and so it's an area where, if it gets paid to the member above you, we really have no chance to get that back. I mean, there's, in the whole time we've been doing this, the members don't send the money, and we haven't asked them to do it, because it's just an area out there that it's a delicate area. It doesn't go to admin, it goes to a member, and so that's an area I've been trying to work on. Now I've been working on coding to rectify this. This is why line 6 has been a little bit difficult to run in. It's actually stopped a couple of times, and they're now, look, they told me that it's very close. They in fact said it's nearly there. I said, well, I might have to look up in the dictionary what nearly means in South Africa, and I think it means shortly as well, so they have the same meaning, but nevertheless it can become frustrating. So what I'm looking to have happen out there now will be making sure this works, and we'll get feedback from members on it, and if anyone wants to have a comment on it at some point, maybe not this time, but thinking about it, you might think about how it could work a bit better. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to have it so that instead of the member above being paid the commission will go to admin. All right, so let's assume something. Let's assume that you missed out and you didn't upgrade for whatever reason. That commission won't go to the member above you now, it'll go to admin. And the reason I'm doing that is because once it's gone to admin, we then have 100% chance to get it back. I don't have to contact other members. We can have a magic button in there, which I'm having them put in, that we can have the coins or the amount transferred from admin to the correct member. So we're looking at doing time frames on that when we can hold it, because we can't do it forever, because what I want to do on that, there'll be people that put in an application to that they've been skipped. I mean, we won't necessarily know them. It'll go into a holding bin, and we'll have the amounts in there. We won't necessarily know them, or we can look it up. But if there's quite a few, because we are looking to have virtually millions of members out there, so we can't be keeping track of it. So it'll be the members if they get skipped on it, and then they can contact admin and we can look at it from there. Now, two things. We're going to put a charge on it to the members, because there is a time factor. I've got to get admin to look up exactly what happened out there, and so they can check on the dates of the whole range, and that will be a bit of a sliding scale to see what we can do. Now, the other thing is that there will be people that, for whatever reason, don't put an application in on there, whether they've gone walkabout or whether they don't do it within the time frame. So there could be an amount of money in there that we'll look at, whether that's done on a monthly or quarterly basis. We will look at it, and allowing for the admin cost to manage that, the balance of it, which will be a huge slice of it. I mean, admin costing on there, I'm not sure, we've got to look at it, but it won't be too much. We will donate that to various projects. There'll be the charities that we run out there, there'll be individual projects, and we'll be able to list that in our magazine so that we can let people know where the funds are going to. So, look, I won't go on any more with that, but that's what I'm looking to do, because when you look at people being skipped, if it goes to the member above you, imagine if you were skipped from an upgrade on line 6 in your group, which is $7,000. Can you imagine contacting the person above to say give that back? It's just going to be hard, because we can't insist on it, and so doing it this way, it just means that we've got a bit more control for the members, so that the members are not missing out, because it is an issue out there with the skipping component of it, because we are looking to revisit the entire compensation plan to make it worthwhile for members to upgrade out there. We've got to put a few more incentives out there, and also too that you may notice that the packages from package 4, 5 and 6, it's quite a high admin charge on that. Now, that was only ever put there back in the early days because I didn't know what we're going to expect with the coins. I want to protect the coins, so you'll see all that adjusted as well. There won't be anything like that coming to admin. That was just really to protect the coins, because I had so much to deal with. I had to make sure that people didn't stack accounts and things like that out there. So there was a few issues I had to make sure that all worked together, because these things, they were coming to my desk individually, so trying to work them out so they all make sense and fit in there. So that's just covering line 6 and the new coding that will go into the admin to cover that. So we'll go into more about it as we get going. So hopefully we've eliminated the skipping process, and members are not going to have to be so concerned about not being there. Just quickly as well on the UPB component, they have been in touch with me and look like they're experiencing programming issues the same as we are out there, but I was under the impression, I did get a message from the owner, from David Emby, sent me a message yesterday that he was hoping to have it rectified with their programming team that they've got and a bit on the move. He was hoping today, but obviously it's not quite there. So for those of you that are a little bit concerned on UPB, they are, once they've got their system in place, then our programming team will link the coin wallet to their system, the same as we have with Next Level Africa. So there's going to be a fair bit of demand on people wanting to join both programs, because you'll need NLA coins. It's the only way you'll be able to pay for your membership. So there'll be a bit of a demand on the NLA coins. So UPB is still out there. And just quickly on BCN, they still have not put an update out there, so we're still looking to see what they're doing there. It's just not quite ready. So it's been, if you can appreciate, they've been probably 6-7 months now where they've just been trying to get this sorted out with their mining and everything that's going on there. So all we can do is go by the updates that come along there. So they're hoping to get new mining facilities opened, and but still running well out there. I've got no issues with it, but there are things that are down, and that's to do with their mining, and also they've put a strong information out there about people joining from the States out there. So there's been a few issues with that. So I don't want to comment on that. It's an individual thing out there, but nevertheless, it's out there. So some people are concerned about it, but it's just a stance they had to make with the US. It's not about their legality with it. It's about the US government not being able to tax things that are going on. So maybe they'll get around that someday. Okay, lastly, the magazine. We are looking, and I do want to apologise to our editor, Lou. I've been meaning to go back to him, but look, I've had some family things on. My grandchildren visited me there for the last couple of weeks, so I've been tied up with them. You know, they're both two young girls, and you know, they're, like we know with females, this is obviously the males. I'm just checking there's more males on this call than females, so I can say this. We all know how much high maintenance females can be, and they start off from a very young age. So I do apologise, Lou, for not being able to get back onto this, but I'm back on deck now, and we'll get that sorted out, because we want to do an announcement on the magazine and get our first run out with that, and have things out there so we can have the magazine where it's going to do maximum coverage on what we wanted to do, and give the members the opportunity to have another opportunity out there, particularly with our coin, and a lot of the humanitarian will be listed in the magazine, and obviously what I was just talking about the skipping process. Any funds we get from that will be noting in the magazine just where we have allocated these funds to, and so members can appreciate what we're trying to do out there. The humanitarian program is still on. Once we have this, because all the projects need to be loaded back in, and this is all part of when they complete this line 6. This program is now keeping an eye on the loading of line 6 and the projects. So once we get that in, I'll be setting in a date for when I'll be in the States, and as I mentioned before, the bank have graciously allocated $100 billion a year to Next Level Africa. So I'm surmising that we will have a lot of interest in humanitarian programs, and people interested in helping different parts of the world out there will want to be involved with us, because it will take us to the stage we will be within the crowdfunding world. I believe we'll be the largest platform out there. So there's quite a bit happening. All right, look, I'm going to turn this over to Angelina now, just so that Angelina can coordinate the Q&A, and I do want to thank everyone for turning up. And the reason I don't want to speculate on the meetings, I mean, I've got my ideas with it, is because we're trying to give it to you as it is. I really have a problem with constantly telling you anything at all unless it's been confirmed with me. And so I know they're working on the wallets, they're working on lots of things, lots of components to bring this whole thing together. You don't realise how big an operation we've got going because of all the components that have to work out together in there. But I will tell you now that the head of the project from the banks, who has been in touch with me, really emphasises the fact on how much they want to work with the NLA model that we've got out there in order to, because they've got a massive humanitarian project in place. We're only one part of it. They currently have very close to $4 trillion that they're going to be distributing, and this will come out in posts through when they do their news on it. So we are at the stage where we're going to see some major things happening. So, but with that, I'll pass it back to Angelina. And once again, I do want to thank everybody. And I do want to take this opportunity now to thank Angelina, Karen and Julie there for their dedication to what's going on. I just see myself as part of this team. It's an incredibly loyal team, and I'm just so grateful that we've got them out there, because they certainly do their duty beyond what's asked of them. All right, I'll hand this back to Angelina. So thanks again, everybody, and I hope to be able to answer some of the Q&A that comes along there. Okay then.
Thanks, Noel. Yes, it is. We do have a great team, and we're just the core little nucleus of it within ourselves here. Okay, so now you can start posting questions in the chat box, and let me just see here if there's anything that I can give an answer to. We do really appreciate everyone's support and encouragement, that's for sure. There is a question, or actually it's more of a statement that was made, that there needs to be a way to notify current NLA members which line they're on. Well, that's a challenge right at the moment. We can't until we get the line that we're working on, and that's what we're doing, is contacting the people so that we're working on line 6. And once that is completely loaded, so this is to a person named Guardian Angel, and I don't recognize your handle there as to who you might be, but that's okay. So we're working on line 6. Once that line is completely loaded back into the system, it goes from the dev server back into our regular server. We will be contacting people as we need to individually. We will be notifying people in the Skype rooms, Facebook, and a general email saying that, you know, please try and log in, but don't do anything until we've said, you know, given the go-ahead. So sadly, we can't tell you what line you're on. Once your account is loaded, at any given point, you'll be able to know just by going into your hierarchy, but I won't get into that explanation just now. Anyway, I hope that sort of helps to clear that up. I know it's not a real great answer, but that's the way it is, sadly. We have a few questions here and a few thank yous. So let me see if I can find the first question here. No, we've got Tom Coleman asking, any idea when the next increase in the asset account and the coin price will come? Tom, maybe you didn't hear Noel at the beginning of the webinar there, but I'll let Noel go into more of a detail there. Noel, if you can see where Tom Coleman is on our questions there, I'll pass the mic back over to you to answer Tom. Thanks.
Okay, Tom, look, thanks very much for your question. I did cover it earlier on there. Just to clarify it a bit further, is that it's the market maker that sets the value of the coin, and he compiles that by the sale of coin and the value on what the coin's been sold for, and also what money goes into the asset account. We're currently sitting, I'm not looking at the figure, at $12 billion. I think you'll find that over, look, as I said, I'm reluctant to speculate, but you will find it goes up by at least 1 to 1.5 billion. So that means the coin will head close to about $190 to $200, and then with the investors, there's 3.27 billion to go in there. So once that, there'll be another increase, and that's why I'm saying that there's definitely 3 increases going in there, because we get money sent into the asset account from the bank every 2 weeks. So it's been about 6 weeks since we've had an increase. So we'll have 3 increases there, and plus the investors. So there should be 4 increases. I would say the coin will go well over the $200 mark before the end of this month. Will we get notified when we have to upgrade? It's still not possible for me to log in to the website, so I have no idea what's going on in there. I wouldn't want to miss the upgrade. This is why I've what actually happened on line 5, we had about, there was about 50 accounts there that people didn't upgrade, so we're trying to contact those people. That's why the time factor on starting on line 6, and that's what put me into overdrive with how can we rectify this, because it's not so important now. And look, I could have just as easily taken the 50 accounts and put them into admin and just kept them from there, but wanted to make sure we exhausted everything we could, and we couldn't keep letting it run because it was holding up other members and getting line 6 in. But we managed to get all that sorted out, and as I said, now that we're looking to doing the non-skipping process in there, there should be a little bit more speed of getting the lines in there. And once we get, look, we go through them. We go through them one by one to make sure that everybody that's there. So don't worry about not being contacted. You certainly will be. No one will lose their position because they haven't been able to log in for any reason. We'll make sure on that, and if for some reason someone happens to lose their position because we've taken the account, we'll rectify that, so no one will leave out. I do want to thank everybody for adding in their bit out there. So it's the support that you're giving us. It makes the job a lot easier for us. We don't like being the front line to have to answer all the issues that are going on out there, but that's really where we are. And if it works fine, then we get the accolades on it. If there's a hold up there, we're the ones that have to, to be the front line and explaining why. But nevertheless, guardian angel. So is there a way to help to assist us in the field to know where we are? You see, we only know where people are in the matrix when they're added back to the matrix. I can't tell you who's on line 7, line 8, line 9. I have no idea. We don't know about that until it goes back in, because everything has been taken out put into a development server and a holding server, and when it's checked out, we get that line sent to us, one line at a time, and then it goes in, and then we check it from there. So we don't know until it goes in. So if you can't log in, chances are you're not in there. Okay, we've got a question on the debit cards. Once the exchanges are settled in there, they've already have the debit cards ready to go. So once the exchanges happen and things are running smoothly with the exchange that going, they'll let us know then when they're going to put the debit cards in. But it hopefully shouldn't be too far off. But once again, I don't want to speculate on that. So we'll just see as we go. So we'll let you know as soon as the debit card is readily available in there. But I need to stabilise the exchange because the same debit card will run through Global and through CEX, and so it's once again they've officially said that we have now taken over the CEX. The bank will stay connected to it because they will manage the asset account, they will manage the security on there, and they will manage the market maker. So there's things going on in there the banks are in control of, and there are things going on that we'll be in control of. So once we sort out where we're at, we'll get all the things in place with support, and it's still in a little bit of a mess, but we'll get on top of that. I have projects in line 5, but it's still not loaded. That's right, we haven't loaded the projects from line 5. They're doing that now. Petra said they're loading all the projects from line 5 and then line 6. So hopefully, look, you'll check in there at some point now, in the not too distant future. You'll see everything happening in there. So they keep telling me for the last week I've been told it'll be up before I wake up in the morning. So I haven't quite seen it yet, and but we should be there very soon. So it's hosted Jerry. Okay, how many people are on line 6? Okay, well you can work out all the lines by just multiplying each one by 3. So whatever's on line 5, if you multiply that by 3, you'll come up with what's on line 6 out there. So I think from memory it's is it 649? I think it's that long since I've double checked all those, but just do the numbers on it. That's how it works out, and you'll see what it is. So then line 7 goes 3 times that. So 729. Thanks. I've just been reminded. So that's the beauty of our admin. They're right on top of everything out there. I do that many numbers that I sometimes forget where we are, but it's I think it's 249 on line 5. So the last bit, so it's 729. Okay, and then obviously line 7 will be 3 times that, line 8 3 times that, line 9 3 times the each line, because it's the power of 3. It's a 3 by 6 force matrix. James asking when the support will be active on CS. We're going through all of that now, James. We're doing various things out there. We've been able to get them, but we just haven't quite got it in place. So I've got people racing everywhere doing things. So we're bringing that into play because we put a maintenance contract together with a support team, and then we finalise what they'll do. And of course they give me a bill and we go from there with it. So we're just finalising that now, but it shouldn't be too much. But if you've got any issues with CEX, by contacting NLA support out there, and we'll be able to chase them up for you. if you don't see anything happening. I've been able to chase up, people doing deposits and things like that, so to find out where their deposits are, and it can take 3 to 5 business days to get the deposits in there, depending. So all right, so now what have we got? Philip, given that you want to contact everyone on the line before that line is loaded. No, not before it's loaded there, Philip. We do it after it's loaded. We do it after it's loaded because once it's loaded, we then can see who is there. So some of them are obvious. Some of them we've got out there obvious that are no longer there with us. But the line is loaded before we do any contact with the members out there. Where are we? Philip, from early attempts to contact them within a fortnight, you will just move on. Yeah, look, once again, we just attempts to contact people. We've got all their details. We've got their emails. We've got their phone numbers. We've got everything we need there to contact in most cases out there. So we do everything we can to do it. But now that I mentioned before, with the coding that I'm having the programmers add to it, it's not so important because we can go back and we can rectify if someone does an upgrade, we can rectify the dollars going back to them through admin. It's not going to another member because we just felt it was something we couldn't do. We couldn't police if the coins went to an upline. We couldn't ask them to send the coins back. And the other thing is that the accounting would be different because if somebody had to send coins back, they send them back. It doesn't come in through that member's income structure. It just is something that's added into. So it's not an accurate history on the income. So by having it come in through admin, it comes in as a payment for your commissions. Whereas if somebody were to send it back to you, well, then we've got to try and follow that up as well. So we're finding that if we can control it from admin, then it's better for the members. But as I said, because this is a time-consuming thing, that there will be a charge, and I can't tell you what the charge will be because each one's going to have to be treated differently out there. Petrus, the crowdfunding have an option to do the updates automatic. At this moment, it is turned off. The automatic upgrade, they are having technical issues with that, so we needed to just turn that off until we can resettle back in. There's a few things in there that just didn't work correctly, and I didn't want them to be playing around with that until we stabilised the rest of the the rest of the things out there, and so we'll be having a revisit. There's a number of things out there, sub accounts and things like that, so you can manage all of your accounts from the one portal. So we'll be looking at lots of things that we'll need to do. Just people thanking us, and we do appreciate the encouragement that we have going on there. Matt Cheever it is, okay. When we can have the auto upgrade on in the matrix. As I mentioned before, with that. We are looking to do that, and it's something that it's a delicate one, because we had people that were automatically upgraded to higher amounts, where they higher um, line levels, where they didn't want the packages up there. So we had an issue with it. So rather than to have programmers working on that and not other things, I wanted to make sure that we had other things sorted out. Then we'll go back and attack that again. Yeah, thanks there, Maxine. We are down to the last few steps, but those last few steps seem to be the ones that are taking the time. But look, we are getting there, and I just feel, look, I know that today I'm going to get some more information, particularly about the meeting, the briefing that went on in London yesterday. So we'll be able to post that, and we will call a webinar as soon as we've got clear indication about what's happening with the investors and when all that will happen out there. And we'll just, once again, you will see line 6 go in there, and I'm not saying today or tomorrow, but it will be there very, very soon. Megan, good morning, Noel. Can you tell us anything about cheap BTC NLA coins that are on CX? Are they from an investor group? No, look, the investors just deal with money. Any coins listed on there, Bitcoin or NLA coins, that's just from members listing their coins for sale out there. So it's got nothing to do with the investors. They're wanting to purchase coins, not sell them, and Bitcoin, etc. Archie's asking, would the debit card be based on NLA or DUC? Well, I guess neither. It'll be dollars, just like a normal debit card. When you convert your DUC from the exchange and then have it put onto your debit card, it will automatically become dollars. The debit card won't know anything about NLA, anything about DUC. It'll know about dollars. So that's all it'll be. It'll be a dollar. Joe's asking, thanks for the updates. No, any projections on how far line 9 is for an upgrade? Well, look, once again, we believe we'll be able to run through these a lot faster now. Once the magic button goes in there for me, they've got that thing out there. So once we can do that, I've already asked them for line 7, so they're getting line 7 ready to come to me, so I can sign off on that, and I'll have that ready very, very quickly, because line 6 will go through that very quickly because of the, as I said, with the not having to worry so much about people being skipped, where we can have a bit more control on that. So, and look, it's a new tool for us as well, so we'll manage that so that it's convenient for everyone to be using it. So I can't do a projection on when that will happen out there, Joe, because it's an area that there are too many factors that come up that you don't factor into these things when you're dealing with programmers. Charlie's asking, when we're contacting, are you emailing, texting, or calling the individuals? We are doing everything out there, Charlie, even smoke signals if we have to. But we like the Canadians there with the Royal Mounted Police. We get our man, so we are doing everything, whatever needs to happen. We're doing it out there. So all of that. So those members, like James and Tim out there, look, they're putting in line 6 and line 5 results there, so you can see members clearly know more about the thing that I do. Even though I built it, I still stop and think where we're at.
Not done, don't.
I'm done. Truck's still finishing the dishes.
It's a little late. She didn't hear your second call.
I need to go back and just see what. Okay, well, look,
Thank you.
I'm not sure what you meant on that build before the next line is loaded. But look, the lines, we will go through them a little bit faster now, as I said, with the new coding I'm having them put in there. James is asking when the package prices will be finalised. 1 to 3 are pretty much the same, they won't change. It's just 4, 5 and 6, I'll be doing those, and we'll do those very, very, you can't upgrade to that anyway, so there's no need to worry on that. No one can upgrade to that, we've turned that off. So I'll get into that. It's just there are priorities out there, and everything's a priority, and I guess that we try to do it in the right sequence so that it all fits, but we'll certainly get to that. Marlene's asked, I tell you what you didn't put on dealing with these programmers, you didn't say what Christmas. When do you anticipate getting as far as line 9 being filled? Will it be before Christmas? You didn't say which Christmas. And I'm certainly hoping that it is well before this Christmas out there. So when we first started this, the programming team told me we'll have this completed in 2 months. That was 7 months ago. So there are things out there, but look, I don't blame them entirely for it, because as I said, with if anyone's dealt with things in South Africa, the other day when they started, they had a power failure. They've had thunderstorms where it stopped the loading process. You don't factor those things in. They have more things that go wrong in South Africa than any other country on the planet, I'm sure. So they've had to restart it a couple of times, and the coding that they need to put in there for the skipping code was a little bit of a challenge for them on it, because I do have to go through in detail with them exactly what I want, and if they change any part of it, you'll find that you finish up getting something there that you don't want. And it took me nearly a month when we were starting this to explain how I wanted the matrix to work out there. So once we got that sorted out, we make sure that they understand exactly what we want and we get what we want, because if a program is doing something and they start thinking about how it should be and change something out there, it changes the whole context of what we're trying to achieve. They don't necessarily know what we're trying to achieve. They just know that if they do something, it makes it easier, they think. Betus, if you possibly can, I have a problem with logging into Global Exchange. Some people try to log in with the wrong password and the login. Global is something that we can assist you with, but we are not necessarily global support. And I know what you're saying there, and that's what they're trying to get sorted out with themselves as well. But if anyone's got any issues with any of the exchanges at all, global or CEX, coin exchange, we will try to assist where we can out there, and most of the time we can get it sorted out. So if you can send in any your username, email to us, we will find out on just what we can about why you can't log in. Guardian Angel, what is the conversion rate between duck and USD? Exactly that. One duck is $1. So whatever the US dollar is worth, that's what the duck's worth. They had to do this legally, so it was put in there. The duck stands for digital unit currency, and they had to do this to make it legal in order to manage it there. So it goes into a digital unit currency, and so that's related to whatever the US dollar is valued at. All right, look, I think that I've covered everything there. I do want to thank everyone for the questions, and I've tried to answer them to the best that I can without going into too much speculation. We didn't know how long this webinar was going to take, but sometimes when you don't have a lot of news out there, it can be a bit longer because of questions coming in. But I'm going to hand it back to Angelina now. And once again, I do want to thank everyone for turning up. I'll hand it back to Angelina to do a thing. We might hear some beautiful crickets in the background again. All right then. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Noel. Yes, I have the advantage tonight to sit out in the front yard with crickets in the background, which is great. I do appreciate them as well. Thank you, Noel, so much for all of your detailed information, and you know, our members, you know, we do appreciate how you are getting to understand what questions that we can answer, and what, because we do simply provide the information that we know, and as Noel says, we can't speculate. It's just not worth the conversations. So when we post in our rooms, it's exactly what we know at the moment, and we will continue to keep you posted on any new developments. So watch for news for line 6. Again, if you can log in with your username and password, it means you're on line 6. If you can't, and you've tried a forgot password, say if you forget your password and you still can't log in, chances are you're not on line 6. But not to worry. We will not let anyone be missed in this opportunity. So that being said,
You finished?
I'm not sure, Charles, why you're sending your information there, but we do have people's information in our spreadsheets. Anyway, thank you all for attending today. Wherever you are, have a wonderful day and a wonderful evening, and we will be looking forward to meeting again very soon. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.